Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel for this week's safety recap. Before we get started, make sure that you give me a thumbs up down below here to encourage me to make more videos of this type. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel where you'll find additional videos of this nature, along with toolbox safety topic videos and other leadership training videos. Let's go ahead and get started with this week's safety recap. Now, I had the opportunity to visit quite a few jobs this week, and everything looked real good. All the teams were enthusiastic about their work. All the work seemed to be well organized, well planned, and well executed. Superintendents had good relationships with their teammates, and the PTPs were done. So congratulations on doing that very important first task. Now, there were some things that we need to talk about. Number one is fall protection. We cannot use rigging designed for lifting material with a crane or a forklift or anything like that. We cannot use that particular type of rigging for fall protection. Fall protection must be qualified or certified for fall protection only and not crossbred. You wouldn't want to use fall protection for rigging. Make sure you understand those differences and do not use rigging for fall protection. All right, the second item was, let me look at my notes. The second item is, when I noticed that rigging being used for fall protection, I thought, well, perhaps it's a training. So make sure we train our guys to recognize those differences between rigging and fall protection. We have fall protection beam wraps, fall protection beam clamps. We have fall protection cable lanyards, and if you're not trained, it could be easily confused on the two types because they do look familiar to the untrained eye. Make sure we're training our guys on the differences between fall protection material and rigging. Let me look at my notes one more time again here. Oh, also, when we train our guys in fall protection, make sure that if we're utilizing horizontal lifelines with rope grabs, that we avoid the situations where the guys could get into too much slack, overreaching with a positioning device or their lanyards attached to a rope grab and then attached to a rope. If they get too far out and they do have a fall, they could swing into something during their fall. So make sure they keep those things, the radius reduced so that their swing is no greater than 15 degrees if they were to have a fall. Also, equipment. Guys, make sure we're inspecting our equipment. Now the maintenance department is going to look at damages that come into the shop, and they're going to look at the last project that equipment was on to determine who to charge those repairs to. If a piece of equipment came to your job and it was not documented that it had damages, and then you send it into the maintenance facility thereafter and there's damages on it, those charges may very well be placed on your job costs. So make sure you're inspecting your equipment. During your equipment inspections as well, make sure all the fluids are topped off and notify maintenance immediately of any hazards, any maintenance issues, so they can get repaired immediately, so it doesn't deteriorate into a worst case scenario or a worse condition that could possibly ruin a piece of equipment. Let's do a good job and document our inspections and notify maintenance of any issues with the equipment. Another thing I noticed this week was GFCIs, ground fault circuit interrupters. Anytime you have somebody using an electrical powered hand tool, sawzall, circular saw, grinder, anything that's plugged into an outlet, it must have a GFCI at the source of the power. I've seen different configurations, the plug plugged in, and then at the end of the 100-foot extension cord there's a GFCI, and then they plug the tool into that. That's not the way it's supposed to work. The GFCI is to be plugged in at the source anytime anyone is using an electrically powered hand tool. Make sure we follow those guidelines. It's a safety issue. It's a cheap fix to keep somebody from being electrically injured during the job process. And then finally, the thing I'd like to talk about is minimum PPE requirements. Now, if I walk onto a job and there's one person there who doesn't have their safety glasses or gloves on, I consider that an oversight. That person just forgot to do it or whatever. However, if I'm walking a job site and there's 10 or 12 guys out of a crew of 50 or 60 that aren't wearing their safety glasses, or 4 or 5 of them aren't wearing their gloves, then that becomes a pattern. And those patterns are unacceptable. The minimum PPE on a job site is hard hat, safety glasses, hand protection, high-vis clothing, work shirt and pants, and work boots. Make sure that those PPE become habits for our guys in the field. Along with that, teach our guys to recognize hazards, how to mitigate recognized hazards, and train them regularly on that. And then have oversight and enforce those training standards. All right, guys, that's it for the safety recap. Now, these are observations overlooking at over 100 men, I would say 100 men. So overall, once again, very good. Kudos to everyone. Continue to good work. Continue to train your men in hazard recognition and hazard mitigation. And with that training, you will develop a more safe and effective workforce who have a team member mentality, who will do a great job for you, more than they're already doing. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you give me a thumbs up down below here to encourage me to make more videos of this type. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, where you will find additional videos of this nature, along with toolbox safety topic videos and leadership training videos. Till we see each other again, take care of yourself, because you're number one. Look out for your co-workers and help ensure their safety. Have a grateful day, and remember, I will see you in the field.